Tips for cold calling in 2025. Now, let's be honest, up front, cold calling is never nice, but it's something that's going to be the difference between growing your agency and getting it from, for example, 1K a month all the way to 10K a month and beyond. Now, I don't advise doing it when you're at 10K a month. The main reason for that is you want to prioritize the high leverage stuff. So that's where you bring in an appointment set. But when you're growing your agency, it is huge. Pick up the phone, make the dials. Now, as someone that's been working on my agency for over a year and a half now, I've made thousands of cold calls. And these are the things and the tips that I've found that work best for me and the things that have made a difference between me getting meetings and not getting meetings. So first thing is that when you're cold calling, it's almost like a mini sales call. You're trying to check if the prospect is qualified, and that's a mindset shift. A lot of people go in just trying to find the meeting. Now, there's a few tips that I have that, and stick around in the video because later on I have a few tips, bonus tips on things that work really effectively that help you to change your mindset about cold calling. Because if you're not going for the meeting and going for something else and just trying to find out if the prospect is qualified, game changer. But let's get into the first tip to start with. Now, the first tip is knowing your script. Knowing your script is huge. If you know your script, then number one, you can preoccupy yourself. So this is what I do. Whenever I'm cold calling now, I'll have my KPI sheet open, key performance indicator sheet. I'll also have my go high level dialer, power dialer up, and then I'll just have a tennis racket and tennis ball. I'll just be doing tap ups around my room, or I'll clean my room, or I'll do some drawing, or I'll play Jenga. Something along the lines of that. I've seen people play Jenga. I don't do it personally, but I've seen people play board games against themselves, things like that. Just something that keeps you entertained. But if you know your script, you can stack tasks on top of that just make it so much funner to cold call. Now, don't get me wrong, cold calling is never going to be the most amazing thing and the thing that you're going to enjoy the most, but you can make it funner than what it is currently. And so you can stack it with things. You can listen to music. You can play a board game, like I said before. Whatever it is that you enjoy, as long as you know your script and you know it off by heart, then you can stack something that you enjoy or something that's going to keep you entertained. So when you're getting those dials out, it's not as mundane, it's not as horrible, it's just sitting there waiting for someone to pick up the phone. Now, the second thing I mentioned was the KPI sheet. You need to track your data. And the main reason for this is that you want to know where you're getting resistance from, or where you're struggling to get meetings booked, or whether you're getting people putting the phone down on you from the opener. Now, the main thing that I would recommend with this is you split it into separate sections. These sections are total dials made, total pickups, then you've got your total pitches made, then you've got your total destinations or resistance or not interested, then you've got your meetings booked. Now, those 5 categories, I believe it was 5, it might be 4, it might be 5. It's been a long day, guys, it's been a long day. But that category, those categories, they break it down so that you'll know what areas you're getting resistance at. Now, if you want access to the KPI cold calling sheet, I'll link it below, and feel free to download and make your own copy of it. But I'd 100% recommend track your data, because then you know where you're getting resistance. If you find that people are putting the phone down you often, you know you need to change your opener. Then if you find that when you're getting to the pit, it just doesn't resonate with them, or they're like, no, I'm not having that issue at the moment, then you know you need to find the bigger pain problems. If you're struggling with, for example, getting the meeting booked, it might be how you're wording it. So that is the most important thing. Revise your script first off, but then track the data and track the KPIs, and then you can start to change stuff. Now, I wouldn't change anything until you've done around 500 dials. The reason for that is you need a large data sum to be able to know if something works or doesn't work. If you do it with 10 cold calls and you find it's not working, how are you ever going to know? You need to make sure that you're tracking the data over a mass amount. So 500 dials, I would say minimum, before you start changing your script. Now, this is a huge one. So all about tonality now. When you are speaking to a prospect, when you open, I recommend putting your head up. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to open your voice cords so you can speak clearer, but also, as you'll find when you're talking, what's going to happen is you'll have a better tonality with it. So for example, if I'm saying, hey, is this James here from Elite Gyms? So something along the lines of that, okay? Whereas if you put your head tilt down like that, you've got a deeper voice. So it completely depends on the tonality that you're going for, but a massive hack that I've found is playing around with your head tilt till you find a good tonality when you're cold calling. So for the opener, I will tilt my head up slightly. Not ridiculous, I'm not talking like face the ceiling, face the sky, but if you tilt your head up slightly, then you're going to have a more of a upward tone, which is more inviting and more welcoming in the first part of the cold call. Whereas if you're like this, or you're talking down like this, and you're looking down to the floor, then you've got a bit more of a closed vocal cord, which is going to close off, and it won't make it as clear, and it will sound quite monotone. So when you're speaking about tonality, make sure if you're wanting to end with a high note or something to do with high pitch, then tilt your head up slightly. If you're wanting to go with a downward tone for the tonality, then tilt your head down more, okay? Like so. That's just one thing that I've found and learned from elite cold callers and from podcasts. It's a really useful tip, so give it a go, and let me know how you get on. Next thing is making it as personalized as possible. Now, if you've got case studies or testimonials, leverage these in your cold calling script. So for example, you could say that, oh, you actually remind remind me a lot of Lloyd. Do you know Lloyd? He's part of X Gym over at X Place. I don't know if you knew each other because you run the same type of gym. So see if you can link it and make it personalised. So you can also say something along the lines of, I'm actually just on your website at the moment. I just noticed that you've got some classes going at the moment. How's the uptake for those classes going at the moment? Something as simple as that. Or you could say something along the lines of, I've just been on the phone actually with your competitor and they're very interested in working with myself. Now I wanted to reach out to you as well beforehand because your gym looks like the right fit for myself right now and the way my business was running and the gyms that we've scaled so far. Now, would you be opposed to just having a quick chat, me finding a little bit more out, and then if it's the right fit, then we'll give you some value. If not, then no hard feelings whatsoever and we'll part ways. Something along the lines of that, as simple as that, just so that you just get the edge up on people, because most people will cold call and they'll just be like, hey, this is Ryan here from XXX Business. Now, that's one thing. Never say that, and then never say afterwards, how's your day going, or how are you doing? You don't care how the day's going, and you don't open with that, because that's what every cold caller has ever done, and it just is awful. So just don't do it. Now, if you've got case studies and testimonials, mention these as much as possible to show that you're not an amateur at this and you've actually got results for people, because 9 out of 10 people that get that cold call, it's just somebody who has never delivered results. It's on their first 10 dials they've ever done, and then they quit. I feel sorry for those people because you can't lose if you don't quit. So just keep going. But yeah, I'm not going to rant about that, but leverage your results as much as possible, because that's going to be the difference between you getting meetings booked and meetings not booked. Now, this is more for those people that are brand new. Offer it out for free. If you've never had any experience, get a case study or a testimonial, just so you can leverage that in sales calls. You can leverage that on your cold calling script, because yes, you can lie about stuff. I would never do that, because the thing is that you want to have conviction, and people can see through bullshit. And if they see that you're not honest, they'll know. They can just tell. People can tell when people are lying about results they've got on people. So 1,000,000%, do some work for free first, because it's also going to get you in a position where you know what you're doing as well. Even if it's just once, I recommend doing it more times, but even if you just do it once, practice and get it better and better and better until you're in a position where you're confident, you've got conviction, because conviction is one of the biggest things in sales calls and appointment booking when you're cold calling. So 100%, if you've got no case studies, got no testimonial videos, get one by doing something for free. And then finally is always schedule your meetings in Calendly and make sure you book them in on your own meeting, and set up automations for an hour before the meeting, 24 hours before the meeting, and an appointment confirmation as soon as you book them in. Reason for that, people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. So reminding people that they've got a call just increases the likelihood. I'd also recommend sending over a personalized video, giving them a call on the day just to make sure they confirm that they're going to be attending the call. And then on top of that as well, I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can do. I'm thinking of making a video about lead nurturing and appointment booking just to increase share rates. So if you'd like me to drop a video on that, then drop a comment down below. I'm more than happy to show you all of that stuff as well. But yeah, that's some of the stuff. In terms of mindset, and I know I said this at the start of the video, the biggest thing is you are trying to diagnose a problem. You can't help people if they do not have that problem. Most people will try and sell to business owners even if they're not the right fit, because it's just because they want the money. Now, the thing that you need to understand is not everyone's going to be the perfect fit for your agency. And so disqualifying those people not only will up your status and give you higher leverage, but also it will make sure that you are delivering the right results for the right people. You'll deliver better results for the right people. Because if you found that you can't work with this type of person because they might not have the ad spend budget, they might not have the money to invest into the business, then there is literally no point in working with them, because you can't leverage your results as best possible. So you need to go in the mindset of diagnosing the problem. If you genuinely can't help this person, then do not move forward with whatever you do. And that's my biggest piece of advice. The second thing would be the mindset shift that I've had is that I'm trying to find out if I can actually help this person. If I can't, then I can't. And that's it. Now, a little game that you can play with this, and this is the game that I used to play with cold calling. I actually got this from a guy called the most hated sales trainer in the UK. I think that's his name. But he basically has like a little sheet, and he tries to get as many no's as possible. And if he gets 10 no's in a row, he stops calling. That's a little game sometimes that I will play with myself just to motivate myself a little bit more, but also to realize that I'm not going with the idea of getting meetings booked. I'm going with the idea of trying to discover a problem to see if I can actually help them. And if I can, then we book the meeting. So with that in mind, guys, that's top tips of cold calling and getting meetings booked for your agency. Any questions, drop them down below. As always, if you like the video, drop us a like, subscribe if you like the content. If not, then hey, there's tons of other videos out there. Catch you in a bit, guys, and as always, take action.